Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below. Am I the idiot for kicking my cousin out for causing me to have this reaction? I, male 37, was in the military. I served 3 years in Iraq. I had issues when I got home after I lost a close friend of mine who was older than me. I was discharged after I was diagnosed with PTSD. I spent a lot of time with my friend's family because somehow that gave me comfort and brought me closer to my friend. He was more than a friend. He was like a brother. The next 2 years were difficult. My ex and I had a divorce. I weren't focusing on thing. Just wanted to get everything done fast. I'm always in a hurry. I didn't know why. I just kept myself busy every day and I made sure to always have people around, although I was miserable. And no one wanted to spend time with me, telling me I needed therapy. And I received therapy before. I currently attend online group sessions every week. But there are things that can cause me to react and I'd find myself lashing out or starting an argument or even crying. My mom called me to say my cousin was coming to stay with me until his next semester starts. I hesitated because my cousin tends to be loud and noisy. I prepared a room for him and he moved in 2 days later. He wasn't as annoying as before, but he certainly did things that made me mad. Last week I was in my room and I suddenly heard gun sounds coming from upstairs. I started panicking, shaking, and I couldn't even get up. I kept yelling my cousin's name and he came into my room telling me he was playing Battlefield. I told him to turn it off immediately. He kept refusing. I yelled at him. And that's when he turned it off. I told him that I don't want to hear that again in my house because gun sounds are a trigger for me, and I've become too weak to handle another panic episode. He said I overreacted, but I made it clear that I won't let it happen again. Yesterday after I got home and once I walked in, I heard loud noise and gun sounds. I couldn't go inside. I immediately sat on the porch because my whole body was shaking and my breathing was heavy. My cousin saw me and came asking if I was okay. Turned out he was playing with his Xbox in my living room. He said he thought I wouldn't be home before 5. I was livid. I yelled at him and called him an insensitive idiot and told him to pack his things and get ready to leave after he said I overreacted again and made light of the situation. I dropped him off at the bus station hours later. And my aunt didn't stop calling. I had to respond, but I ended up arguing with her after she said that her son was being treated unfairly by me and told me to stop being overdramatic and I shouldn't have yelled at my cousin like that. I stopped responding because of what she said. Basically, calling me soft and too sensitive. Not the idiot. Your cousin needs to learn to be respectful of other people's triggers, especially with PTSD. You are not soft or sensitive. PTSD can be difficult to navigate and he was being an idiot. Not the idiot. If you had a severe peanut allergy and he had sat in your living room and eating peanuts and leaving the shells on the floor because you weren't supposed to be home yet, would your family think that was no big deal? He was a guest in your home and couldn't follow basic rules that protect the health of others. That is unacceptable. Not the idiot. He was a guest in your home. He lives by your rules. If he can't, he doesn't get to stay. End of story. You didn't even have to let him in at all. You were nice enough to let him stay and he took advantage. Am I the idiot for letting my daughter use my son's car when he was away at college and not telling him when she damaged it? This has caused a lot of stir in our household, and I'm finally deciding to post on this sub. Long time reader. My son is 20 and a sophomore in college. He currently lives there in an apartment but does not have his car there. He has left his car at home but is adamant that nobody uses it. In October, my daughter turned 16. She went and got her driver's license a few weeks after. She passed the test with no problems, though I'll admit she struggled at times when she drove with me. Her best friend lives in the same subdivision as us, a 4-minute drive half a mile away. There's no traffic or stoplights involved when driving to her friend's house. Well, she really wanted to drive herself there the day she got her license. I had some errands to run, so I let her take my son's car. And well, I watched her pull out of our driveway and completely clip the side of the car against our brick mailbox. The right front headlight was smashed, and the bumper had a prettier dent and scrapes. My son has a pretty bad temper, and I was terrified about how he'd react. Daughter is very quiet and sensitive, and I know my son would probably dish out enough insults to her to put her in therapy. Not knowing what to do, I called my mom to see if she'd pay to get it fixed. She was the one who bought him the car. After she told me she would, I kind of forgot about it. Son came home from school a week before I expected him to, and the car wasn't sent to be repaired yet. I don't want to get into the reaction too much, but he was not very happy. He was furious at both me and his sister. He tore into her really bad, making her cry. I recently was finally able to put a stop to him calling her slow. This has been a problem for years, since daughter showed signs of social awkwardness, but I finally got him to stop as of last year. But after this he kept sarcastically gloating that he was right and his sister is slow. He said he was taking all of his valuables out of our home, because he obviously can't trust me with anything of his. My mom paid for the car to be fixed, but son is insisting his sister, or I pay my mom back for the damages since it was our fault, and we are getting off without consequences. I know I was wrong to lend him the car, but I tried to hide it from him only to protect my daughter. Was I wrong? Edit. Daughter is not in therapy for the way her brother treats her. I had a poor choice of words. I did not mean that literally. I just meant he can be a bit of a name caller if he's really angry about something. You are the idiot. If it's in his name, he could sue you or his sister for theft and damage. Pay back, apologize, admit you effed up. You are the idiot. I'm not entirely sure why you wouldn't be. I get protecting your daughter from what he says, but if you're that worried about his temper, why let your 16-year-old daughter, who's a new driver that sometimes struggles, drive his car? No forethought in this. You are the idiot. You say your daughter insisted on driving there herself and you wanted to use your own car. Would a very sensitive person take her bad-tempered brother's car instead if her dad warned her this could happen? So, you didn't warn her, or do you say yes to everything she asks? Is there a chance your son has this attitude because she never faced consequences? Am I the idiot for threatening to cut my best friend off from their only source of income? A few years back, I took up a niche, made by hand, crafty type hobby and got pretty good at it. In fact, I got so good at it that one of my finished products went viral, which resulted in literally hundreds of thousands of people messaging me asking if they could purchase the item, too. The finished product requires a good amount of skill and know-how to be able to complete. There was no way in hell I was ever going to be able to fill this kind of demand even if I wanted to, but I saw an opportunity to create a small business out of it. I hired 4 people and opened a small studio in a local arts center. One of those people was my best friend. At the time, I was a university student who still had 2 years to go on my degree and I didn't want to give up on that. The business was a success, and I was able to pay my expenses throughout college until I graduated, but I knew I didn't want to do it forever. Once I achieved my degree, I folded up shop and moved into my new career full-time. I don't regret it. My best friend has always been a bit of an underachiever. Never really able to hold a steady job, multiple failed attempts at college, etc. When we folded up, they asked me to allow them to continue making this product at their place so that they could pay for their most recent attempt at university. They seemed to be cleaning their life up and turning over a new leaf, so I agreed. It went well for a couple of years, but as of the last 6 months I've been getting multiple notifications of failure to deliver product from Etsy. 3 cases have been opened by customers who have paid well over $1,000 in advance to have their items made. Some of these orders were taken as far back as last August yet never completed. 2 cases were closed, but one has been escalated to Etsy abuse support. My name is still tied to this shop and this account, even though I've had nothing to do with it for the last 2 years. I told my friend that if they can't get it together, I'm pulling the plug and refusing to allow them to produce my designs. Friend is upset, saying that they're a single parent with no other source of income. They're super busy with their senior project, and they just have no time to work on these orders, they say. This is probably true, but friend has a proven track record of being unreliable. I told them that if they can't get these orders delivered within 30 days that I'm locking them out of the account, even if it means they suffer financial hardship because of it. I'm thinking I might be the asshole for 2 reasons. 1. There's a child in play here. I'd literally be talking food out of this child's mouth if I cut their parent off from their job. Secondly, if I do decide to restrict access, my friend will most likely have to drop out of college and work full-time in order to support their family. Obviously, I don't want that, but I also don't want to be on the hook for whatever they screw up. My spouse is on my side, but there are a couple friends of mine that aren't. You're not an idiot, but you made a big mistake in letting your friend make these products under a business that had your name attached to it. Give them reasonable notice that you're shutting down and encourage them to start up their own business instead. Not the idiot, it sounds like they're literally scamming clients. There are no excuses to not deliver. I would shut it down now. Not the idiot. It's your name on the line here. Plus if their track record is already poor, I doubt it will be fixed in a month. If she knew she was going to be busy, she should have communicated that to the clients. Am I the idiot for indirectly calling my mom an idiot in the heat of the argument? Hi, throwaway account and first time posting on Reddit in general, so sorry for any format issues. So, I'm F17, live with my family in a pretty large family with 4 siblings, one older and others younger. Since quarantine has started, a lot of problems with our family has risen up, since we're all stuck in the house. In the past, I would have had the energy and willpower to be a more proactive figure in the family and help guide everyone through everything, but the combination of heavy senioritis and quarantine in general, I am just so burned out and honestly pretty depressed, barely even getting out of bed to attend Zooms and take care of myself. So comes my mom in the picture. She's a very headstrong woman, and honestly, I don't think she understands mental health issues. For a long time, she worked from home, but ever since she started working outside from home, I feel like she hasn't been playing her role as a parent. I understand that she has work and is probably tired and stressed out when she comes home, but at the same time I do not think it's okay for her to be leaving everything for her kids to take care of. I know I'm almost 18 and an adult, but that does not mean I am capable of taking care of 3 younger kids, especially one that is particularly troublesome. So, one day when I'm taking a break after doing homework and school for hours, she comes and gets upset at the family, telling us that we haven't been doing anything. At this point, I'm pretty upset. I am so very tired and talk back at her and yell back, telling her that she hasn't even been present in being a parent, and how she can't expect the house to be perfect when she hasn't even been a parent to us for years. At this point, she tries to walk away and say she doesn't want to hear anything, but I press because I could not stand it anymore. My older sibling and I start telling her what's wrong and how it's been for all the siblings for years. At first, she seems understanding and asks us what she should do to make it better. We tell her our thoughts, but here's the main point. I make a comment and say as long as you're not going to be an idiot when you do this, everything will be okay. The problem seems to be resolved at the time, but hours later she comes to my room and says, "How could you call your mother an idiot? That's just not right," and leaves. My father came in and told us she was crying. I feel like an idiot because I did indirectly call her an idiot, but I don't feel like I was wrong, and in fact I'm upset because while we were finally trying to be open about a problem that's been going on for years, the only thing my mom pulled out of that was that we called her an idiot. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. In my opinion, we are all assholes some of the time. The goal is to minimize that. What you said wasn't an insult, but she is probably thinking about all of it and feels bad, angry, sad, and this is her outlet. But I would still apologize to be the bigger person. Like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings and I didn't mean to insult you in any way. Apostrophe. Not the idiot. Lockdown and quarantines are tough on family dynamics. Sounds like you're mentally spent and phrased something incorrectly in the heat of the moment. Apologize for that, but it's not down to you to figure out how to make it better or come up with solutions for running a family. You're 17. While you can support your parents, it's also not your focus on making the household work, which it sounds like is your key role. Take some time for yourself and hope you feel better soon. Not the idiot. You were obviously upset and under a lot of pressure. The word idiot was unnecessary, but you didn't call her an idiot, so she doesn't really have much reason to be upset.